I paused Zootopia over 200 times, and I'm not exaggerating. This movie is hiding a Breaking Bad reference, a purse that vanishes into thin air, and a Mickey Mouse hidden inside a character's own face. But that's not even the biggest thing I found, because buried in this movie is a detail that's been sitting in plain sight since 2016. And once you connect it to something Disney just did in Zootopia 2, it starts looking less like an Easter egg and more like a roadmap for who the villain of Zootopia 3 is actually going to be. I'm not talking about a wild fan theory pulled out of nowhere. I'm talking about something that's been missing from this entire franchise for 2 movies straight, hiding right in front of you the whole time.
Let's get into it. Go ahead and subscribe while you're here, because we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. The first find happens before Judy even gets to Zootopia. If you pause during her school play at the Carrot Days Festival, you'll notice Bobby Catmull hitting the piano strings with mallets, except his foot is nowhere near the sustain pedal, and yet the notes ring out anyway, like the pedal's been pressed the whole time. And it's not the only mistake hiding in that scene. Right after the play ends, Judy tells the crowd, "Thank you and good night."
Thank you and good night.
But the second she and her parents step outside the barn, it's clearly broad daylight. So either that play ran until sunrise, or somebody in editing lost track of time. It's a tiny thing, but it's also a nice preview of what this whole video is about.
For the second find, keep your eyes on Clawhauser the next time he's on screen. If you pause and zoom in on the spots on his cheek, 3 of them line up perfectly to form a hidden Mickey. Disney animators can't help themselves. The movie hasn't even hit the 10-minute mark, and there's already an Easter egg tucked into a side character's face.
Now for the 5th find, head over to Tundra Town, because there are 2 little elephant girls skating around in dresses that are just a little too familiar. One's wearing blue, one's wearing green and black, and together they're a dead ringer for Anna and Elsa from Frozen. Their dad isn't safe from this either. His outfit is basically a copy of Oaken's getup from the same movie. Disney clearly wasn't done cross-promoting Frozen in 2016, and honestly, fair enough. Frozen had just made over $1 billion.
The 6th thing I caught is much smaller, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Over at Jumbo's Cafe, the flower emblem on the plates matches a decoration you'll find on Anna's bed back in Arendelle. It's such an easy detail to miss because it's just sitting there in the background of an elephant ice cream shop. For the 8th find, we head to Duke Weaselton's bootleg stand, and this is where things get genuinely wild. He's selling movies that Disney hadn't even released yet at the time, all animalified versions of real Disney films: Wreck-It Rhino, Pig Hero 6, Wrangled, and one called Floatsin' 2. Yes, Floatsin' 2 in 2016, years before Frozen 2 was even officially announced. Duke Weaselton predicted a sequel before Disney's own marketing department did.
The 11th thing I found happens when Judy and Nick are digging through camera footage in the Rainforest District. The coordinates that pop up on screen aren't random numbers, they're real-world coordinates. One points to the actual Disney animation building in Burbank. Another points to the Tahunga warehouse in North Hollywood, which happens to be the 12th find because that warehouse is where the actual Zootopia animation team worked while their main studio was being renovated. They named a character street after their own temporary office. That's the kind of inside joke that only becomes funny once you know the backstory. For the 13th find, look at Judy's keychain. That little carrot charm bouncing around looks suspiciously like Mr. Carrot, the toy from Bolt. Small detail, but Disney loves reusing prop designs across movies that have nothing to do with each other.
Okay, we're about halfway through this list, and honestly, the deep cuts only get weirder from here. The 15th thing to look for is a running Mickey gag that spans 2 completely different places. On the actual theatrical poster, there's a young zebra standing behind yaks holding a Mickey Mouse doll. And in the actual movie, while Nick is pushing Finnick's stroller through the street, a hippo walks by pushing her own stroller, and hanging out of the basket is once again a Mickey Mouse doll. 2 hidden Mickeys, 2 completely different scenes, same mouse.
Now for the 17th find, pay attention to Chief Bogo's office. There's a picture on his calendar of a very familiar looking city, and it's San Francisco, straight out of Big Hero 6. Chief Bogo apparently has good taste in movies, Or maybe he just really likes that city skyline.
For the 20th find, hop on the train with Judy as she leaves Bunnyboro. Scroll through her music player and pause on the song list. Every single band name on there is an animal pun, and right underneath the top track is a song literally called Let It Goat. Disney just could not resist one more Frozen joke.
The 25th find is a lot darker than anything else on this list. When Judy and Nick track down the underground night howler operation, they find a ram running the whole thing dressed in a hazmat suit. If that setup already feels familiar, it should. His assistants are named Jesse and Walter. Disney hid a Breaking Bad reference in a kids movie about talking animals, and somehow it works. Most kids in the theater have no idea what they're watching, and every parent in the room is doing a double take at the exact same moment.
The 21st thing I found is at that same train station in Bunnyboro. Look at the side of the building and you'll spot a pair of huge, familiar eyes and a wide, toothy grin worked into the architecture. That's Totoro, straight out of Studio Ghibli, hidden in the side of a train station in a completely different animated universe.
For the 26th find, Mayor Lionheart himself is a reference. His whole character, name included, is built as a parallel to King Richard the Lionheart from Disney's 1973 Robin Hood. Same title, same general vibe of a leader who isn't quite who he claims to be. For the 31st find, go back to the big chase scene with Duke Weaselton. When he falls next to that giant donut sign, a bag of flower bulbs lands on the street beside him. But one shot later, when Judy's chasing him down, yelling for him to stop, that exact bag has somehow relocated much further up the road. It vanishes completely for a few shots after that, then reappears right when Judy saves Frou-Frou. That bag gets around more than some of the actual characters.
And now for the last find, the one I promised was bigger than a normal Easter egg. Go back through this entire movie and pay attention to something that's actually missing the whole time. Birds. Not a single bird character ever shows up on screen in the original Zootopia, despite the movie supposedly being home to every kind of animal in existence. And even that phrasing is the clue, because Zootopia was always built around mammals specifically, which conveniently writes birds out of the story from the very start. The only real mention of birds in the whole movie is a passing lyric in Gazelle's song Try Everything. That's it.
Now here's why that gap matters. Zootopia 2 ends with a quiet, easy-to-miss post-credits scene. Judy's sitting alone, replaying a message from Nick on her carrot pen, and a single feather drifts down and lands right next to it. No bird on screen, no explanation, just a feather appearing out of nowhere in a franchise that had gone 2 entire movies without so much as acknowledging birds exist. Disney has all but confirmed this is a deliberate sequel hook, which means the empty space where birds should have been since 2016 wasn't an oversight. It was the first movie quietly setting the table for exactly what's coming. Now, to be clear, nobody's officially confirmed who or what that means for Zootopia 3, and I'm not going to pretend I know exactly which character it's going to be. But when a franchise spends 2 full movies making a very specific, very deliberate absence, and then closes the second one on a single unexplained feather, that's not a coincidence. That's foreshadowing with a decade-long fuse on it. Disney has been sitting on this since before either of us had even heard of Zootopia, quietly waiting almost 10 years to finally light the fuse they buried in the very first frame of the very first movie. Keep an eye on the skies. So there you have it, nearly 40 things I noticed after pausing Zootopia way more times than any one person should. Did you catch any of these on your first watch? Let us know in the comments section. We've got plenty more things to reveal about this movie and its sequel, so go check out our other videos and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
Subscribe to the channel. Help us 1,000 subscribers.